everyone, and welcome to Pastor Kim's Corner. And yes, it's me, Pastor Kim. Blessings to you, blessings to you, blessings to you. Okay, I know that's not my intro. My intro is welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. But listen, I'm working on them. And so I like blessings to you, and blessings to you. Well, anyway, I just felt led to say that at that moment. This video is a colorism video, and a while back, I am Tracy Lee, formerly known as Kinky Locks. Trey, she did a wonderful, heartfelt colorism video, and it really touched me. Matter of fact, I've watched it a couple of times. And so I said to her, I was like, oh, Queen, because she calls everybody Queen. I said, you should have made this a challenge. You just brought back memories. And so she was saying one day, she said, well, I can. And she was like, okay, Pastor Kim. I think I was in her live one day. And she was like, okay, so since you said I should make it a challenge, I'm challenging you to do your colorism. So I did it, but I didn't publish it because I didn't really like, excuse me, I didn't really like the way that I did it, and I was going to have to edit, cut and paste, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, okay, let me just do this again. And things happen. So it's been like in the front of my brain, in the front of my brain, in the front of my brain. So I am Tracy Lee. Kudos to you and the colorism video that you did. And if anybody else wants to do it, then I challenge you to do it. I might not challenge anybody, but let's talk about what colorism means, okay? And I'm going to put up the definition, okay? So colorism is prejudice or discrimination against individuals with a dark skin tone, typically among people of the same ethnic or racial group. So that's what colorism is, okay? And if you've ever experienced it, then you know. So I have I have several experiences with colorism, but I have two that I'm going to talk about. And so the first one is with two of my daughters. I have 5 daughters, and our family, that's why the Huxtables were so popular, because it represented a black family, and it represented a black family of all colors. And so my girls, they all have the same father. He and I were married. You've heard me if you listen to my So What Challenge or whatever, but they all have the same father. I was married for 30 years. And so they come in all ranges of colors, because I'm dark and he's light, and his family on his father's side is from Honduras. So his father is Honduran and his mother is black. And so my girls come in all colors, okay? So my 2 middle girls are about 19 months apart. And I took them to Ohio to meet their maternal great-grandmother, okay? And I was very excited, and they had on the Rothschild coats. I remember I don't know if y'all remember the Rothschild coats. And I'll put up a little picture. And Lydia had on a purple Rothschild coat, and Lynetta had on a red Rothschild coat with the matching hats, okay? And they just looked adorable. They were about 4 and 5 years old. And so we were going to Ohio for a visit. Again, I took them to meet their maternal grandmother. And no shade intended, she was my step-grandmother, okay? So when she met them, she immediately fell in love with Lynetta, who is lighter than Lydia. And she, they both, went to her to meet her to receive that hug and everything. And she was like, "Oh, Red, come here, Red. This is Red Bone." And she just kept on calling her Red and kept on pulling her towards her. And I mean, it was obvious, it was just so obvious she was leaving Lydia out because Lydia was chocolate. And I was like infuriated, And once, to make a long story short, once we finished that visit, I never ever took my children back to see her again, ever. Okay, that was it. And Lydia was actually the first child that came out from the womb looking like me. I mean, she was just a beautiful chocolate pretty girl. And all her life, that's what I would tell her. From the time she was just little, I would tell her, just a pretty chocolate girl. You are so beautiful. And if y'all know her, she's Lydia's Love Language. That's her channel. Go check her out. Lydia's Love Language. Just the prettiest chocolate girl you ever wanted to see. So I would always tell her how pretty she was, because I never wanted anybody to single her out because of color or anything like that. I mean, they're all pretty girls. They're my girls. I'm prejudiced. They're all pretty girls. Netta's pretty. All of them are pretty. Netta was a light skin, and so she was just, she was pretty. I mean, they all were pretty regardless. But I just made it my business after that incident to make Lydia just know that, hey, just because you the chocolate one out the bunch, honey, the blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice, okay? And so that was the story of my children. And when you see people distinguish, between color, your own people, it's very, very hurtful. It's very hurtful. And so the second one that I have is my mother. I was raised in New York. We lived in New York. And my mother moved down here for me to go to high school. She moved actually to North Carolina. And so in the midst of that, she had been coming down making visits in the summer while I was away in Ohio with my grandparents. And so she would come down to North Carolina making visits, making friendships, and looking for a place to stay. She knew some people that were here. And so anyway, she acquired a very good friend. And she had always been talking about me. My mom had always been talking about me. I have this daughter, blah, blah, blah. She's smart, she's beautiful, she's blah, blah, blah. And so when I finally met her best friend, who was very, she was just like, a beautiful, dark chocolate woman. I mean, not even dark chocolate. She was just a beautiful black woman. She's my godmom. I ended up calling her my aunt. Just one of those dark African color black women, just beautiful. And so when I met her, and I had to be about 13 or 14 years old, and when I met her, the first thing she said to me was, "Girl, the way your mother talk about you, I thought you was light-skinned with long hair." And I was just like, I was just dumbfounded, because my mother was always my biggest fan. She always pushed me, encouraged me, would tell me how, pretty I am, everything. And she was just taken aback because of the way that my mom talked about me. She just expected me to be this light-skinned girl with long hair. So those are the two experiences that I've had with colorism. I never forgot that. I forgave, but it just always stuck in my mind. You know what I mean? And so we have to get past that color mentality. It still exists, and so we have to get past it. I don't want to go political on y'all, so I'm just going to leave it at that. So thank you. I am Tracy Lee. I have finally gotten this colorism video out, and I would encourage anyone who has had a moment, a colorism moment, to go ahead and talk about it. Share it, because it needs to be shared. Bless you. Have a blessed day. I hope you all have a blessed day and a purpose-filled life in Jesus' name. And you know that I love you with that agape love. Be blessed.